It's your man Jay Graves Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Preview, Week 5. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Previewing the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, this weekend is the weekend we've been waiting for, bruh. We got 5 ball games with all the teams ranked in the top 25. So everybody, all 5 games have 2 teams ranked in the top 25. That's what we've been waiting on all year, Playboy. So let's go down to Norman. First ball game, we got number 23, West Virginia, comes in 3-0 to play number 15, Oklahoma. Now, we're going down to Norman. So when you're down in Norman, I'm just telling everybody, when you're down in Norman, stop by Billy Seals Barbecue and get the halfback and tell them that Jay sent you. Best barbecue you ever want to eat, Playboy. Now, this ball game, West Virginia comes into this ball game averaging 43 points a game, putting up 543 yards a game. Oklahoma is averaging 41 points a game, putting up 553 yards a game. Now, neither one of these defenses is worth 2 dead flies smash, so it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a track meet up in this mug. You will swear you was watching Carl Lewis, Jesse Owens, Usain Bolt, all them duns gonna be on the field this weekend. Ain't nobody playing defense in this game. For the last 3 years, every time these guys play, they put up crazy points. Nobody's playing defense. Think about this. Oklahoma's won all 3 ball games, but in 2012, they gave up 778 yards of total offense to these boys from West Virginia. They won 50-49. Then in 2014, they came back to went back out there to play at West Virginia. Gave up 513 yards. They won 45-33. Only one of the ball games they played had been close. When they were in Norman, it was 16-17. But neither one of the defenses show up, so don't even worry about the defense. Now, here's the problem for West Virginia. They start their Big 12 road trip. Like the next 3 out of 4 games, they on the road in the Big 12, and they got to start in Norman. They 3-0, but they hadn't played anybody. They played Georgia Southern, Liberty, and Durham, Maryland. The problem that they run into going to Norman is Baker Mayfield. This done is completing 67% of his passes. He had put up 10 touchdowns already. He rushed 27 times for 131 yards. The cat is the real deal. He's the transfer from Baylor. Walk on. The boy is going to work. So in Norman this weekend, Oklahoma wins this ball game, but they're going to wet the bed on defense. So Baker Mayfield going to have to put in work. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. But I see Oklahoma winning this ball game, but Bob Stoops normally wet the bed in ball games like this. It's on national TV, 12 noon. He might wet the bed, but if I'm gonna stay with my pick, Baker Mayfield saved these boys in a shootout. Now, let's go to the next ball game. Let's go down to the SEC. Between the hedges, we got number 13, Alabama, coming in to play number 8, Georgia. Say it with me. Georgia is Mark Rick's Georgia. Georgia always has a tendency. A losing ball game, they should lose. However, this ball game is a little different because Alabama comes into this ball game averaging 35 points a game, putting up 460 yards per game. These boys from Georgia averaging 45 points a game, putting up 491 yards. This is going to be a battle of running backs. You got Derrick Henry coming in from Alabama at 6'3", 242 pounds, a monster. This boy going to put in work and do damage. But on the other side of the ball, you got Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, since week 7 of 2014, since last year, week 7, this leads the SEC with more than 160 yards a game, with more than 18 touchdowns. His yards after contact is 855 yards, bruh. That means he running over boys. He putting in work. These duns at Georgia have a tendency of losing ball games because of the curse of the spray tan. Ma Rick wear the worst spray tan in America. That done look like the leprechaun. Like he trying to be the leprechaun at Notre Dame to spray tan so bad. But because he loses ball games that we don't expect for him to lose, he's not going to lose this game. Alabama goes down this weekend because Georgia isn't expected to win this ball game. According to most folks, they thinking Alabama's going to come in here and push them around. Not going to happen. Alabama is going back to the crib with an L, and all the good old boys down in Alabama going to be fired up at Nick Saban. Nick Saban he's about to start flipping the bird at everybody in Alabama. In about 2 years, he won't be there because he's not putting up with the foolishness that everybody think he should win a national championship every year. He lose 1 or 2 ball games, and all the faithful go nuts. Nick Saban ain't putting up with it. So be prepared to get the bird flipped at you because they're going to lose this weekend. Now, let's stay in the SEC. We're going to go down to the swamp. We got number 3, Ole Miss, comes in undefeated to play number 25, Florida, who's also undefeated. Now, here's the deal. Ole Miss comes in averaging 54 points a game, putting up more than 543 yards a game. Florida on the other side of the ball is averaging 33 points a game, putting up 404 yards a game. Now, this is going to be an interesting ball game because Ole Miss is looking to come down to the swamp and win its 3rd straight. Nobody has won 3 straight at the swamp since Alabama beat these boys 6 times between 1930 and 1986. So it may not happen, bruh, because Florida is getting busy right now. Jim McElwain got these boys rolling. Ever since he cussed out Fred Taylor's son for doing this to a boy. Remember, he cussed him out bad. Ever since then, these boys are rolling. You got to think about it. But Laquan Treadwell from Ole Miss is the real deal. This boy put up 135 yards last week against Doug Vandy. Since last year, Ole Miss is 10-2 when he's on the field. They 1-2 when he's not on the field. He's playing this weekend, but he got to match up against my man Vernon Hargreaves from Florida, one of the best defensive backs in America. You know they're gonna put them together. They're gonna match them up. That is the difference in this ball game. But because Jim McElwain got these boys rolling, I got to go with Florida to win in the swamp. And old dumb Mississippi, say it with me, Mississippi is Mississippi. These boys going to lose this ball game and start losing ground. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, let's go down to the Lone Star State. We got number 21. The old dumb Mississippi State Cowbells show up to play number 14 Texas A&M. Now, Mississippi State comes into this ball game averaging 33 points a game, putting up more than 448 yards per game. Texas A&M and the homie Kevin Sumlin putting up 41 points a game and 471 yards per game. Now, here's the deal. Since 2012, Summy and Texas A&M leads the SEC in points scored at 41 points a game. And they 5th in the country in score. So they can put up points. Dak Prescott creates a problem for these boys. Because Dak Prescott comes into this ball game with 48 career touchdown passes and 33 rushing touchdowns. He only needs 2 touchdowns to get to 50 and 30 to be considered as great as Tim Tebow and Johnny Football since 2000. Those are the only guys that had 50 passing touchdowns and 30 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott is the real deal. And Ole Miss comes into this ball game. I didn't realize this till I pulled it up. They got the second best defensive efficiency in the SEC and 13th overall. These boys got defense and Dak Prescott. I gotta go with Mississippi State to win this ball game at Texas A&M, even though Kyle Field is probably one of the most difficult places in America to play. But Dak Prescott is the difference in this ball game. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, We got we got the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame. We got the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame, number 6 in the country, goes down to Death Valley to play number 12, Clemson. Now, here's the deal. Notre Dame comes into this ball game averaging 41 points a game, putting up more than 531 yards. Clemson comes into this ball game averaging 36 points a game, putting up 442 yards a game. Now, the difference has been the Black Dutchman or German, whatever you want to call him. Deshaun Kaiser has come in for Malik Zaire and put in work. CJ Precise has been the real deal at running back. He's put up more than 600 yards in 4 games. That's the most ever rushing for a Notre Dame running back in the history of Notre Dame. These boys are the real deal. Now, Clemson has been the real deal, but they've been dull at the crib. Clemson has a tendency to be on a high and fall apart at the crib. Remember in 2011, they was 8-0. Georgia Tech came in, beat the brakes off of them, beat them 31-17. Then 2 years later, famous Jameis came in the building. They was 8-0, riding high, beat them 51-14. This ball game will be no different. Notre Dame comes in and wins this ball game behind Deshaun Kaiser, CJ Precise, and the Leprechaun. You know the Leprechaun just got out of rehab, so that dog gonna go down there and steal Howard's rock, pawn it before he even get back to South Bend. They gonna be looking for that dog all the way up and down the highway, because he gonna steal Howard's rock, crash it, tear it up, spray paint that joint, and then he gonna take it over to the pawn shop and get about $4. This your man Jay Graves Report from TheJayGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport so you can holler at your boy.